In invoking his constitutional right against self-incrimination in response to a Senate subpoena, former National Security Advisor Mike Flynn is, for now, leaving major questions hanging. What do members of the Senate Intelligence Committee want to ask Flynn? We won't know unless he gets immunity or is otherwise compelled to testify, which is difficult for Congress to make happen. But the likely key questions he'd be asked fit into several buckets. One bucket is the Collusion Bucket. It's full of questions about Russia's efforts to sway the 2016 presidential election. During the campaign, what types of contact did Flynn have with Russia or its foreign operatives? Senators would try to glean from him any details that help answer the overarching question, was there collusion between Russia and the Trump campaign? And if so, what did President Donald Trump know about it? In another bucket, questions about the White House and how it handles national security concerns. Did Flynn inform the Trump campaign or the Trump transition team of his lobbying contract with a Turkish businessman? Did the transition team ask him about warnings it received about him? Did Vice President Mike Pence, who headed up the transition, discuss with him any of those concerns? Former Acting Attorney General Sally Yates says she warned the White House in January that Flynn had been compromised by his contact with Russian officials prior to Mr. Trump's inauguration. Flynn remained in his position for another 18 days. Did the president or Mr. Pence discuss with him his phone conversations with Russia's ambassador to the U.S. during the presidential transition period? And if so, is it true that he misled Mr. Pence and others?
The first I heard of it.
Did Flynn lie to the FBI about this, which would be a felony offense? In a third bucket, questions concerning possible obstruction of justice by the president. In light of reports, denied by Mr. Trump, that he asked then FBI Director James Comey to back off of his investigation of Flynn, did Mr. Trump remain in contact with Flynn after his firing? Has anyone in the White House encouraged him not to testify? A fourth bucket involves questions about Flynn's business interests. Did money he received to advance Turkish interests influence his decisions during the transition and his short term as National Security Advisor? Why did Flynn reject a plan proposed by officials in former President Barack Obama's administration during the transition to arm Kurdish fighters in Syria? Was it because of his business ties to Turkey, which opposes arming the Kurds? Buckets of questions, but Flynn won't fill in Congress with answers unless apparently he can do so without facing criminal charges. That's the short answer. Any questions you think Congress is dying to ask Mike Flynn? Send us an email or leave a comment.